Today, my 5 top tips to help you when you start sparring. Hello and welcome to Fit to Box. I'm Coach Simon, and here on Fit to Box, I'll bring you all things boxing equipment. As well as doing boxing equipment reviews, I also do little hints and tips for boxers out there to help them on their boxing journey. Today, it's about sparring. And when you first spar, and those first few spars, things that you need to do to make it easier for yourself and not fall foul of some of the novice mistakes that are out there. Number 1, target area. You need to know exactly where you can hit and where you can't hit. Essentially, it is the front of the face, the front of the body, and then not below the belt. You can't hit at the back of the head, that's called a rabbit punch. You can't hit at the back of the back, that is called a kidney punch. You're not allowed to do any sort of punches like this or that, that's called slapping. Every punch that you deliver must be delivered with the knuckle area, whether it is a strike like that or a hook or a hook or hook to the body like so, but all of your strikes must be delivered with the front of the glove. So anytime that you land a blow on the knuckle part of the glove to your opponent's target area, what happens is that is called winning in boxing, but also in sparring. That just means that you are ahead in the sparring if you land more knuckle to the target area. Number 2, relax. Okay, so many times people will get in when they're not very experienced at sparring and they will hold their breath. When you hold your breath, your energy will just disappear because you need to breathe. What I do is with each punch, and what that does is that can regulate your breathing when it comes to your sparring so that you don't gas out, that you don't hold your breath. If you liken it to swimming, if you was to do a length of swimming, but you did it holding your breath, very quickly your energy would go because you need your lungs to feed the body of the air needed to do what you're doing in the sparring. So as I say, make sure that you're breathing, don't hold your breath. And that's a big one for newbies where they get in, they're so nervous, they hold their breath, they're throwing their punches, and pretty quickly they find out that that's the wrong thing to do. Number 3, keep your eyes on your opponent. That sounds self-explanatory, but many times novice boxers will be looking down, where in a real match they'll be told head up. You get them where they look away. And the one you see in white collar a lot is where they throw a punch, and because they're not looking at the opponent's eyes, they actually do a 360, and that is ridiculous. You would never want to be doing that in your sparring or even in your fights, especially at amateur level. It just is a really novice thing to see. See it on the white collar scene all the time, people spinning around because they've threw a punch. If you keep your eyes looking at your opponent, you will then mean that wherever you go, if you're ducking, if you're slipping shots, you still are keeping your eyes on your opponent, and you need to do that because they're trying to punch you in the head and body. Also, you can see little tells from their eyes where they're looking to punch you. So you can pick it up, but what you have to do is you have to make sure that you are looking into their eyes the whole time. Number 4, keep your shape. And when I say that, I mean guard in place, your boxing stance there. And so when you're throwing the punches, you're coming back to your guard with your elbows in and your hands protecting your head and your elbows protecting your body in that position there. Making sure that your platform, which is your stance, is always in position. You're not crossing your feet, you're not bringing your feet together, you're not going too wide. Always be in your boxing position, so practice your footwork. And when it comes to your guard, don't be dropping your hands, one hand or two hands, or worse still, got both hands down. Very few people out there can do sort of a Prince Nazim type style. And in amateur boxing, you really want to be with your guard up so you can catch the shots, okay? You can block hooks as well, and you can block to the body with your elbows. So always maintain your boxing position. That is your shape, and it doesn't matter how tired you get, you want to retain this. When you're on the bags, always keep that shape. When you're punching, come back to that guard. Don't go down or down, because obviously you're giving an opportunity to your opponent to punch you. So, number 4, keep your shape. Number 5, it's a general ring craft. 4 corners, and they're the worst place for you to be. Don't go to the corners. If anything, if you're on the outside, go mid-rope to mid-rope to mid-rope. And if you're on the centre, obviously you've got the centre of the ring, and that's probably the best place to be, especially with amateur boxing, how it's being scored currently, with the dominance and the competitiveness. You really want to be in the centre of the ring, pushing the action. So there is my 5 top tips to get you started with your sparring. It would be remiss of me, being a boxing equipment channel, not to mention equipment. So as a little bonus for you here, I'll just talk about equipment. You need to make sure, firstly, you've got a gum shield that fits. Also, if you're putting a head guard on, which you should be, making sure that the head guard fits. You don't want to be fidgeting with your head guard when they're punching you. You want it to be fitted correctly when you get in. So make sure you get the right size and it's fitted at the back, at the bottom, at the top, okay, before you start. Otherwise, you're there, you're doing your boxing, you're trying to concentrate, and your head guard is moving. Very, very distracting. Then obviously with the gloves, wear gloves with padding in the knuckle and the appropriate size gloves. Many gyms are like 16 ounce when it comes to sparring. I have a bit of a different view because I think that you can use ABA gloves for sparring because of the amount of padding that is in those gloves in comparison to some of these, say, Mexican 16 ounce where there's hardly any padding across the knuckle area. It's all in the wrist. So I'll put on screen my sort of suggested sparring gloves for the different size people, but definitely it's all about safety when it comes to sparring. So make sure your gloves are in good shape. Padding wise, if you're using the same gloves to hit the bags, make sure that the padding hasn't broken down to the point where they're not suitable for sparring. Hopefully your coaches are checking the knuckles of not only your gloves, but more importantly, your opponent's. Boxing boots, I would always suggest wearing boxing boots. People that wear trainers, obviously, if they've got a big sole on the trainers and there's a chance that you're going to go over on your ankle, cause yourself an injury. If you've got boxing boots on, much better. They're designed to move around a boxing ring, and that's what you should use. And a groin guard, and this is for males and females, but especially for the males out there. Not only does it create a line, so we know as coaches definitely whether there's a low blow, but also what I would say is that protection. If a shot does go low, you are protected by your groin protector. Always amazes me how many people, how many boys and men, they want to protect their teeth, but they don't have any protection when it comes to below the belt. And let me tell you, as you know as well, it hurts. So protect yourself at all times, whether it's the head, the gum shield, the gloves, or the groin guard, and always wear those boxing shoes. So those are my 5/6 little top tips for you when it comes to starting out your sparring. At a beginner level, those tips will really help you just to avoid the mistakes that most people make. Those tips are to help you avoid a lot of the novice mistakes that people do. Obviously, there's a hell of a lot of skill involved in sparring, and you will get better and better in your sparring journey. You'll have hard spars, you'll have technical spars, you'll have the spars where you're not as good as the other person, and you'll have the other spars where you're better than the other person. You'll have the ones where they're looking after you, and you'll have the ones where you're looking after them. The thing you have to do with sparring is enjoy it. I absolutely love sparring. I've done thousands and thousands of rounds in this ring, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. It's been that good. It's an essential part of your boxing journey to get in there and spar. Absolutely love it. It really is what the sport is about. And then obviously you can then go on to compete as well, which is great to be able to get out there, test your skills against people from other clubs, and perhaps even win some titles, which is obviously a fantastic thing to do in your boxing journey. I hope you've enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe to Fit to Box, and I shall speak to you soon.